Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Pork Chop Fabrication. I'm Richard. Just gonna bring you a short little video of how to get an inside angle for some bracing. We're building some skid plates for the Forerunner today, and what I want to do is get a internal brace right here, just to kind of stiffen it up. So if any rocks hit on the underside right here, it'll help prevent dinging and denting and warping. So I'm going to show you how I go by getting the angles, and hopefully first try get it right. We're going to make them out of some chipboard first. Actually, I already got the angles right here, so I'll show you how I got those. And then we'll cut them out of steel, lay them on, and get them tacked in. So what you're looking at right now is the top side of the skid plate, or the side of the skid plate that's going to be under the body, not exposed to the elements. What I'm doing right here is measuring for the rise of the brackets. So I got two compound squares. What you want to do is keep the lowest one, or the vertical one, as square as possible to the base of your skid plate. And then I'm using the second one to measure out. And where I kind of set it is right at 5 inches, and I moved it up half an inch to 5.5, and that's kind of where I wanted my bracket to end. So I can visually see where it's going to stop on the incline part of the skid plate. Now I'm using the horizontal compound square to measure from the skid plate back to the vertical commie square, which is lined up to the crease at the bottom, which will show me the length that I need to measure for the cut. Now I'm going to start laying out my designs on this chipboard first, just so I don't have to waste steel. I'm measuring up on the base of the chipboard 5.5 inches, and I'm going to draw a straight line across. This chipboard was already pre-measured out to be the length of the braces I wanted. It just came off some old packaging, and it worked out to be the correct length. So I made my two tack marks at 5.5 inches up from the base of the chipboard. Now I'll start by drawing a line across and then measuring back the distance I had from the skid plate to the vertical compound square. I'll make another tack mark, lay that out, and that should give me my starting angle. This first line I'm making is actually unnecessary. The second line I'm just drawing from the rise I measured down to the corner, and that will be the top of the brace that I will be cutting. I'm just going to double check my angle cut. So I have the vertical square right here lined up to the crease at the bottom of the skid plate, and then I'm going to push the horizontal or larger square forward all the way, and where those two meet will give me my distance where I need to mark. So my measurements came out to around 8.5. So now I'm going to transfer that distance from the edge of my chipboard and make a little nick at 8.5 inches. Then I'm going to transfer a line from that mark right there up to my top corner, and that should give me the correct angle for the small little brace I'm making for the inside of the skid plate. What's nice about using cardboard or chipboard for layout design is it takes a few seconds with scissors to cut it out and see if it'll fit up. Make sure that you test fit even the chipboard before you transfer it onto steel. It'll just make everything a whole lot easier when you do go cut steel. And the lines line up pretty dang close, and I'm happy with the results for this. So I just have some 3/16 steel. I'm gonna hold the template down that I cut out of scissors, and with a fine point Sharpie, I'm gonna trace over it so I can transfer it to the steel. I prefer fine point Sharpies. They seem to give me the most accurate markings. The fatter the tip is on any marking device, the more air you can have, especially for precise fit pieces. Just using a standard grinder with a 4.5-inch cutoff wheel to cut these pieces off. Take your time, make sure you're keeping your line straight, even though this piece probably won't be seen. If you ever have to pull it off, or the next person that works on the vehicle pulls it off, they'll see the quality and attention to detail in your work. Gonna test fit the metal piece now. One more time before I tack it in place, and it looks good to me. So I mounted the skid plate back into place, and I have the small little braces I made for it resting on the inside. I have them sitting on the inside of the two diff mounts, one for each side, and I'm just gonna tack them in and get them as straight as I can with the tack. Then I will pull the whole skid plate off and do a finish weld over them. Hopefully this was a helpful video, just kind of how to beef up your skid plate if you're making one. This might work on the CBI skid plates as well. Just shoot me a like, shoot me a subscribe if you want to see more. Hopefully I'll get some off-road content going in a little while.